Hey guys, welcome back. In the last lecture, we discussed the attribute of the refund model and created the refund model. Now, in this lecture, we will work on refunds controller and we will also allow customers to open the refunds form and create a request for cancellation of their booking. So, to do this, first open your routes file and add the refund resources into it. Okay, so switch to the project directory and open your routes file. So, you can open routes file. Okay, and in the routes file we need to add the refunds resources first. Okay, so we already know that how we can add resources, so just use resources keyword and then provide refunds name here. Okay, now, after adding refunds routes, what we need to do as the next thing that we need to create refunds controller. Okay, and we need to define a new action into it. Okay, but here let me tell you that we have two options to create a controller. We can either generate a controller from the terminal as well. Okay, and we can create controller from controller manually as well. Okay, so here I am going to prefer the manual creation of controller. So let's go to the controller and click on it and create a new file and name this file as refunds controller. Okay, so save this file and provide a name refunds controller.rb. Okay, and now it's time to implement the refunds controller. So let's implement class refunds controller and then inherited by application controller. Okay, and as I tell you that we need to define the new action inside it. Okay, so let's define def new. Okay, and inside this new action we need to instantiate the refund model. Okay, and we created the refund model in the last lecture. Okay, so let's define the refund equal to refund dot new. Okay, and now save this file. We will use this new action to create a form where we will ask a customer to provide the booking order number for which they want refund. Okay, so now after creating the controller, let's create a new directory inside the app views and name this as refund. Okay, so go to the app views and here we need to create a new directory inside the views and name this directory as refunds. Okay, now in this refund directory, we will create a new .html.trb template for the new action, and here we will implement the form to ask booking order number from the customer. Okay, so first let me minimize all these admin namespace and all that and this layout. Okay, here you can see we have refund. So let's create a new file and name this file as new.html.erb. So new.html.erb. Now, in this new.html.erb, we will implement the form to ask the booking order number from the customer. We will capture this booking order number because we will first check if any of the booking in our database has the same booking order number as provided by the customer. If the matching found, then we will create a refund entry for the customer, else we will redirect customer to the same form with a message that provided booking order number is not valid order number. Okay, so let's implement the form for it. Okay, so here I will create the form inside the column 6. Okay, so let's add div class call lg6 and then close this form. Okay, and here I will add my favorite class, that is my favorite element, that is div class card and shadow, and inside this shadow card you can add a div class body, div class card body. Okay, and this div as well. Okay, now into this division we need to implement the form. I mean, into this card body we need to implement the form. So we can use form tag like form with. We will use form with helper to create the form. Okay, and here we can provide model and your model name must be at the rate refund. Okay, and then since we are not going to use turbo stream, so we need to disable the turbo stream. Okay, because if you do not disable this, then whenever you submit the form, your create action will be processed as the turbo stream. Okay, and then you will face some issue in redirection. Okay, so here I'm going to set the turbo stream as the false. Okay, so let's add the html element here, and inside this html what we can add data and then add another key value pair. Here we can use turbo and then let's provide value false to it. Okay, and now you can add do, and here is the form builder object. So let's make form here, and now end this form via an end tag, end form tag. Okay. Now inside this form tag, we need to implement our booking form. Okay. So first let's add, sorry, refund form, not the booking form. So first add div class, sorry, not div class, and here you can use form group, and let's use mb3 margin bottom 3, and also add mt3 to this call lg6 class as well. mt3, so it will, sorry, mt5, so it will as margin top from the navigation bar, okay, or from the page. Okay. Now in this division form group, we, what we need to do, we need to add our input element. Okay, so first let's add the label for that input element. So we can do form dot label, and let's provide order number here. This will be the order number of booking. That, if you remember, we sent an order number inside the email and mentioned that customer must remember this order number, because that might be needed in the, while they want to refund or they want to cancel. Okay, so we will capture that order number here. Okay, now let's add class to this label, and class will be form label, and add mb2 to it. This will be at margin bottom, and now let's implement, now let's add the form control. Okay, so form dot text field. Okay, here we will add, capture the order number in the text field. Now provide order number. Okay, and then add class to it, and the class must be form control, and then must be form control lg, because let's make the input field large, a bit large. And now after this div, what you need to do, you need to add another form group class to add the submit button. Okay, so let's add class form group and mb3, close the div, and inside this div let's add a submit button. Okay, so here we can add form dot submit, and inside the submit button let's add a check, since we are just checking the eligibility of the customer, that whether whatever the request or whatever the order number he is providing is eligible for the refund or not. Okay, so we can add label to the submit text like check your eligibility. Okay, and now add a class to it, btn primary, and since we added the large lg class or form control lg class to the input control, so let's add the button lg class to this button. Okay, so btn lg. Okay, and now save your file, sorry, save your form, and at the last add a line break. Now we implemented the form, so it's time to open the refunds new page on the browser. Okay, so switch to the browser, and here what you can do, let's open a new tab and go to the browser localhost 3000, and here you can add refunds and new. Okay, and with new refunds you can see that we have this at card form. Here we are displaying order number, and we have submit button, check your eligibility. Okay, now make some space on the terminal. Now, when you submit this empty order number or whatever any value in this order number, let's say, let's provide some order number to it, and when you submit it, you will get an error that the action create could not be found for refunds controller. And why? Because we are submitting this new form, but we have not defined any create action inside our refunds controller. Okay, so it's time to create the create action, or it's time to implement the create action inside our refunds controller. Okay, by the way, before implementing the create action into the refunds controller, here you can see that we have only one input field in this form. Okay, and this is for capturing the booking order number. This will be used to check whether customer is eligible or not for the refund. If booking number is valid, then we will consider that request for refund is valid, and if booking number is invalid, then we will display an error to the customer. Okay, Now let's switch to the reference controller again and start implementing our create action. Okay, so let's switch to the reference controller. Okay, and here what we can do, we need to define create, def create and end. Okay, now just save it. Okay, and after saving this, reload the browser again and make some space on the terminal. Okay, and submit this new form. Okay, and here you can see that what we are getting into the param, so we are getting authenticity token and a refund params, and inside that refund params we are getting order number as the key value pair. Okay, so here inside the refunds controllers create action, what we need to do, that first we need to find that if booking exists in the database with the order number provided by the customer. So let's write a query for this. Okay, so let's write booking equal to booking dot find. Okay, sorry, find by, because we are not submitting the primary key here, we are trying to find by a unique key, so we need to use find by, not the find query. Okay, so let's use order number. And here we need to provide the params, that's why we check the params on the terminal. Okay, so you can see that we are getting order number inside the params refund. Okay, so what we can write here, params refund. Okay, and then order number. Okay, save this lines. Now we write the query to find the booking with provided order number. Now, if booking present, then we will create a refund with only three attributes for now, and that are booking ID, customer ID, and the state. Here, I will provide state as the initial value of accepted, because if order number provided by customer is valid, that means customer is eligible to ask for refund. Okay, so let's implement this logic. Okay, so first we need to check that where this booking exists in the database. So booking dot present. Okay, and now first let's get the else part as well, and now let's just into the if part. If booking present, then we need to create refund. Okay, so at the rate refund equal to refund dot create, and inside this refund create, what we can provide, customer ID. Customer ID is the ID of the customer who booked the ticket. Okay, so we have booking belongs to customer. That means every booking has the customer ID. So what we can provide here, booking dot customer ID. Okay, and now booking ID, because every refund belongs to some booking, so we need to provide this booking ID. So we can add booking dot ID here, booking.id. And now as I discussed that we are providing state value as accepted. Why? Because this request is eligible if booking exists with the provided order number. Okay, so let's add state as accepted. Okay, and now when this book refund has been created, or this partial entry for the refund has been made, we need to redirect to the we need to redirect customers to some page. So we will redirect customer to the edit refund page, where customer can provide rest of the details for that refund that he want to ask from us. Okay, so let's add redirect to, and we will provide path of edit refund path. Okay, and you need to provide id of at the rate refund, sorry, the instance of refund. Okay, so refund, and now we can add notice here, and this will be the message that will be appear as the flash message. Okay, so let's use single quotes, because we are not interpolating a string here. Okay, and just as a reminder, you can note that whenever you try to display only string message without any interpolation, then just use single quoted string, never try to use double quoted. However, it is fine to use double quotes string for your plain strings text or plain text content as well, but this is not supposed to be good practice. Okay, so let's use the single quoted string. Okay, so here we can use your booking request has been your booking request is valid, and add a full stop here, and please fill other details to accept your refund details. Please, oh, let's make this typo. Please fill other details to accept your refund details, or to process is the better word. So to process your refund request. Okay, and now let's save this. Now we need to switch into the, sorry, let's add a full stop. Now we need to switch into the else part. Okay, because if no booking match with the customer provided order number, then simply we need to redirect customer on the same new form but with some error message. Okay, so let's write that error message here. Okay, so first write the redirect to new refund path. Okay, and what we can do here, alert, we need to use double quoted string here. Why? Because we will use order, customer provided order number, that this order number is invalid, so we need to use double quoted string here. Okay, so what text we can add here, you provided an invalid booking id, you provided an invalid booking id, and here we need to interpolate the string, and what we can display here, that Param's refund order number. Okay, so let's add this. Okay, and add a full stop here. We found, and then we can say that we found no booking with this booking id. We found no booking with this booking id, and then please fill valid booking id, or please provide valid booking id. Please provide valid booking id. Okay, and now let's correct this typo as well. Okay, and save this. And this is how we can implement our create action. Okay, now here you can see that after finding a booking from the database matching with the order number provided by customer, we are redirecting them on edit page. Okay, but we have not defined any edit action inside our reference controller. Okay, so first we need to implement the edit action, then we need to create the template for this edit action so that customer can see some uh, message if the booking found, else we are displaying booking error message already on the new form. Okay, so now if the booking exists, then let's implement an edit action, def edit. Okay, and what we need to write in this edit action, that if refund found, then we need to display the refund details. Okay, so let's use at the refund equal to refund dot find, and then params id. Okay, now save this, and now let's try creating, and now let's try submitting the new form. Okay, so first save the controller and go to the browser. Okay, here let's refresh the page, and when you submit an anything as a string, and now let's click on the check your eligibility, you can see that you provided an invalid booking id, and here you can see that we can see our booking id, or the customer provided booking id, and the message, we found no booking with this booking id, please provide the valid booking id. Okay, but now before providing the valid booking id, let's implement the edit template as well. Okay, so go to the refunds controller. Okay, is the reference controller, and now we define the edit action here. So what we need to do is the next thing, that we need to define edit.html.trv, a template for edit action. Okay, so create a file and name it at edit.html.erb. Okay, save this file. And now in this edit.html.trv, let's create a form where we can ask a customer that how many tickets he want to refund. Okay, or he want in the refund. Okay, so let's implement the edit form first. Okay, so here we can just copy our new form first. Okay, so let's copy this form because we will make some changes here. Okay, and I am not writing this form from scratch because you can do that at your end. Okay, so let's update the label as well. So what we can do here, number of tickets to be refunded. Okay, so number of tickets to be refunded. Okay, save this. Now we need to remove this text field. Why? Because we will ask customer to provide number of tickets. Okay, so we require number field here. Okay, so let's remove this text field and add number field here. Okay, save this. And here we need to provide number of tickets because we have number of tickets attribute inside our refund model. Okay, so we can provide number of tickets here. Okay, so provide this number of field and save this. Now here we need to check minimum and maximum criteria, that what values customer can provide here. Okay, because we cannot allow customer to provide any number of tickets and we can process the refund for that. Okay, the minimum number of seats that tickets that customer can ask for refund is the one. Okay, and maximum number is the number of total number of tickets that he booked at the time of booking. Okay, so what we can do here, so let's add min and max class attributes here. So min must be 1 and max must be the number of tickets that he booked at the time of booking. Okay, so since we already defined the association between booking and refund, so what we can use here, refund dot booking dot number of tickets. Okay, number of tickets. Okay, this will be the max criteria. Okay, now we need to change the label of the submit button, and this button should be like, let's say, just simply submit your request. Submit your request. Now, since we added the edit form, but for the good user experience, it would be better to display the booking information to customer as well. This will be the information of the booking for which he wants refund. Okay, so let's do that. So what we can do, so you can see here that we created the form inside the call LG6, and now the rest of the six column, what we can display, that we can display the booking information that customer has booked, or booking information of the customer's booking for which he wants to refund. Okay, so let's add div class and then call lg6, add mt5, and inside this div what we can do here, add our favorite classes, that is card schedule. By the way, this is my favorite only. If your favorite is something else, then you can use here, but I would encourage everybody to use card classes only. Yeah. Okay, so now we can add an h4 element here, and this h4 element will display like your booking details. It is fine. Booking. So let's make this b capital and then details. And now in this booking details, we can add other details like for what workshop the booking created, how many tickets booked at the time of booking, how much amount has been paid for this booking, and what was the date of the booking. Okay, because this will give the customer idea about the booking, that how many tickets he has booked and how many amount he has paid, so he can think of that, I want to refund of this amount of tickets, or this is the workshop that I'm going. Okay, so let's add those details. Okay, so we will use our p element here with class lead. Okay, now let's close this peak here. What we can display here, that strong tag, and inside this strong tag we can display booking for, and after this strong tag what we can do, let's first copy this area because we need this for everything. Okay, so let's copy this, and now here we will display the workshop name. Okay, but rather than writing the plain workshop name, we can add a link to the workshop so that customer can, if customer wants to or review the workshop details, before creating a refund request, then we can display, we can add the link, and by using that link customer can go to the details of the workshop as well. Okay, so let's add link to, and here at the rate refund dot booking dot workshop dot name. Here you can see that I'm using refund.booking.workshop and then name. Then don't worry, we will refactor this in upcoming lecture. Okay, but for now, let's use these long associations, and then we will definitely refund them, refactor these code. Okay, and that time it will be shortened. Okay, so let's forward that, and now at the rate refund.booking.workshop as the object, refund.booking.workshop. And now when customer will click this link, it should be open in the new page. Okay, so what we can add here, target, target must be blank, and target blank will open this link inside the new browser tab. Okay, and now after this p tag, define another p element, and here we can display like total tickets booked. So just use total booked. Okay, so we can use at the rate refund dot booking dot number of tickets. Okay, that we defined here. So just copy this at the rate refund dot booking dot number of tickets, and we can use it here as it is. Okay, and now we need to copy this p tag again just to display the amount paid. Okay, so let's use amount paid here, amount paid, and what we can do here, let's say dollar and refund dot booking dot amount paid. Okay, amount paid. And now at the last attribute, what we can do, that booking date. Okay, so let's replace this text, and we can add booking date. Okay, and refund dot booking dot created it. But by default it will display the UTC time, so let's add some strf time class here, time method here, strf time, and we can format our date here like let's say percent %b, percent %a, and then percent %b, and then comma percent y capital. Okay, this will format our date like 27th, Friday 27th, and then month and year name. Okay, now save this file. Okay, so here you can see that in the edit template we implemented form, and we implemented the booking details as well. Okay, and that's it. Now we can allow customer to submit the new form. Okay, and we already seen that what happened when we will submit this new form with some wrong order number. Okay, so here you can see that check your eligibility. Okay, so here you can see you provided an invalid booking id. We found no booking with this booking id, please provide valid booking id. Okay, now to find valid booking IDs, what we need to do, because it's hard to remember that what booking ID we need, so we can go to the Rails console, and we can pick up any of the existing booking ID from our database. Okay, so let's write the Rails console. Okay, and here we can plug all the booking IDs for the existing bookings. Okay, so you can use booking dot plug. Okay, and in this booking, what we can do, order number. Here you can see that we got this booking CD60F4786. Now copy this and submit this here. Okay, so we can submit it here, and when you click on the check your eligibility now, you will find that your booking request is valid. Okay, I missed the is here, so we will fix that. Your booking request is valid, please fill other details to proceed your refund request. Here you can see that it is asking from the customer that how many tickets to be refunded, and it is the your booking details, booking for workshop name, total tickets booked to 5, amount paid, this is $7,500, and booking date 28 Saturday May 22. Okay, now when you click on this booking details, you can see that this is opening on the new tab. Okay, and this is all the other details. Okay, now let's click on the let's visit the new refund page again. Okay, here you can see that we can also submit the empty form as well, but we should avoid this. Okay, so we need to add an html, a basic html validation here. Okay, so let's click on the browser. Hey, go to the form, new form. Okay, and here what we can do, that we can add the basic html validation here. Let's say required true. Okay, save this. Now submit the, and now refresh the form and click on the check your eligibility. Okay, so now this will ask you to provide at least some value here. Okay, so whether it is wrong or correct, you need to provide at least some values. Okay, and now we need can do the same thing for our edit form as well. Okay, so go to the edit form as well, and now add required true here. Okay, so after this max attribute, what we can add, required true. This will add a basic validation. Okay, so customer cannot cannot submit the empty forms. So we saw both cases. We submitted incorrect booking ID as well, and that was creating that is rendering redirecting to the new form again with some error message, and we submitted a valid order ID as well, and that is redirecting customer on the edit form where he can provide further details, and we are also displaying the details of the booking that he has booked for the workshop. Okay, and this is the purpose of this lecture. I know this is a quite long lecture, but would like you to go through this, complete the lecture, and try this at your end. And if you feel any doubts or having any confusion, or if you have any question like why we did something like this, and if you have some better approach for them, then just let me know through the comment section. Okay, if you have doubts, I will be happy to help you, and if you have suggestions, then it would be good for me. Okay, so thanks for watching this, and let's meet into the next lecture. Till then, tata, goodbye, take care, and stay safe.